Greetings all, School Bus here, rolling out on Prokhorovka in the new EBR 75. And special shout out here to Four Tankers and Dog. He stopped by our stream last night and he gave me the 7-day rental code to try one of these out. And I have to admit, in the... Oh, hold on a second. Notice the way when you do this launch mode thing, it kind of sits there, it sort of dances like a kid that kind of like needs to go to the bathroom. Alright, so I had just watched Quickie Baby's video earlier the same day, and fortunately paid attention because, first off, I realized I would love one of these, and the second thing is he taught me a lot about how to drive it, and that became important when suddenly I found myself on a live stream and was trying to go out and play it for the first time. Not the least of which being Four Tankers stuck around and watched the games. First few weren't too exciting, but this was the first game where we were truly on a nice open map. I think it was Mines, Himmelsdorf, and Ensk were the previous maps, and they just didn't lend themselves real well. But this is a light tanks map, and it was a really good map for me to try this out. The EBR 75 really likes ridge surfing. The catch with it is that you need to make sure you keep that hull below the ridge, because the hull is rather large, and I will be drawing a lot of comparisons between this tank and my recently acquired ELC Even 90. The Even 90 definitely has a superior ability to avoid getting shot at, or I should say it gets shot at but avoid taking a hit because it has such a small profile. This has a larger profile, but it is notably faster. And so, real brief explanation of the mechanics, you use X to toggle between the high-speed mode and the low-speed mode. The high-speed mode, you give up steering angle, so it cannot turn as quickly. And in the maneuverability mode, you give up about 20 kmh, so you go from a top speed of 80 down to a top speed of 60, but then you have your full maneuverability. It still on city maps is a bit tricky because you need to negotiate the streets, and if you get yourself into a precarious situation, you can't just rotate in place. But this tank just loves to move. You will note in this game, I don't think I ever stopped moving, except for there a little bit ago when artillery caught me. And I believe that will be the last time that artillery catches me in the game. And I should note, it wasn't that artillery got me while I was stopped. Artillery hit me and brought me almost to a stop because they broke the wheels. And the wheels on this, if you get hit in one wheel, I believe it cuts your speed, or sorry, it doesn't do anything. You get hit on two wheels and it will cut your speed in half. And then if you get hit on three wheels, then I think it cuts that speed in half as well. So by the time you're done, you're moving about as fast or maybe even slower than a T95. So you will notice my loadout, I have 2 repair kits. I highly recommend it. I highly, highly, highly recommend it. So from a gameplay standpoint, I just keep running back and forth across the ridge. We need to clear out more tanks before I can start to move forward and push beyond this first ridge. Now, something I appreciate a lot in World of Tanks is a tank that has statistics that are cohesive. Now watch this. This is a tank you have to keep moving, and I'm able to take these very well aimed shots, despite the fact that I'm at top speed. And that is one of the aspects of this tank that really are unique and make it a lot of fun to play. And it all comes down to the gun handling. So the aim time is 1.15 seconds. If you compare that to an ELC Even 90 of 2.78, that is a huge improvement of aim time. The dispersion is actually the same between the tanks, but the soft stats are an order of magnitude better, where the ELC Even 90 is a 0.18 on its moving and tank traverse. This thing's 0.08. And then actually on its turret traverse, it's better than an order of magnitude. Turret traverse is only a 0.04 versus a 0.15. So a very, very competent mobile shooter. And you saw it again there. Actually, we'll have to look at the post-battle stats, what my hit percentage was. it is impressive. As for its ability to avoid being hit, I still think the ELC Even 90 is better. It's a much smaller tank, and it's still quick enough that it really does a good job of getting avoided. Like, you can just dive into a bunch of enemies, they'll all start shooting, and many times they won't hit you. This is actually a rather large tank, but only when you have the side profile. If you're going straight at or straight away from an enemy, it's still pretty small, and I think can be rather troll when it comes to avoiding being hit. Do note, it also goes identically fast in forward and reverse. So, all you farm boys out there, you can drive this thing backward. Hopefully all that practice over the years will help you. Or I guess maybe if you're not familiar with the farming aspect of driving in reverse, you can also use Mater from Cars. He loved driving in reverse. He just needed his meters. So I think we're approaching a point here where we can get a little more aggressive and jump over to the other side and start working these ridges. I'm actually thinking about going in after the E4 right here, but then he dies, so I dive left. And now we'll start working this ridge, because we've won the east, so now all of the enemies are in the west. And so we'll be safe to use these ridges and just start lighting things up so that my buddy Tow Truck down in the south can get some shots, as well as all the others that are working up the 1-2 line. What I want to avoid, though, is getting hit, because this thing does not have much for hit points, and I lost half of mine earlier in that little issue with the artillery. Now we'll get in here and do a little bit of circling the enemy. So we'll take our 2 shots, we'll move away, and in about 10 seconds we'll be back up again, and let's make another pass. But he can't hit us. And nope. Now we'll swing around again. What I'm not sure of at this point is if he's going to live for me to make another pass. But I think because he was on such low hit points, everybody wanted to shoot the other tanks. So he's actually still alive, we're reloaded, and now we'll go in and finish him off. And at that is the game. Let's go take a look at the post-battle stats. And it was an ace tanker. I sure wasn't expecting that, but was real happy about it anyway. And got some bonds out of it. Experience-wise, did really well here. Mostly it was all of the spotting, but some of it was due to the combat side of it. We drove over 8.7 kilometers, and we netted 231,000 silver, which might be a record for me in World of Tanks. I'm not saying that this is going to be a cash cow of a tank. It was benefited by the holidays. It was benefited by the fact that the enemy doesn't yet really know how to deal with these. So your mileage may vary. But overall, I'm very happy with this tank. I knew I would enjoy something like this. And thank you, 4Tankers, for hooking me up, letting me try this out. Do remember, the crew is kind of goofy with it. You have a dedicated radio operator. So do mind your crew loadouts when you're setting it up. So thanks for watching. I'm glad you stuck it out till the end.